Listen up, Cleveland. The Dawg Pound is shaking right now because Andrew Berry just dropped some massive bombs regarding our defense that changed the whole landscape of this offseason. We got news on a failed signing that looked like a lock, plus the truth about those trade rumors involving our biggest stars that have been keeping you up at night. You don't want to miss any of this heat today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button right now to stay locked into the best Cleveland Browns news coverage online. AJ Epinesa is not coming to Cleveland after all, and this is a massive blow to the plans the Browns had for bolstering that defensive line rotation alongside the big guys up front. We were all ready to welcome this kid to the 216 after hearing the reports of a one-year deal worth $5 million, but the medical staff in Berea found some serious concerns during his physical exams that forced Andrew Berry to pull the plug immediately. This veteran edge defender was supposed to be a key piece for Jim Schwartz's scheme, bringing that pass rush juice that every team in the AFC North needs if they want to survive this division. It's a tough break for the player and even tougher for our front office because we were counting on that production to keep our stars fresh throughout the long season. When you look at the landscape of the Lake Erie area, we pride ourselves on tough, healthy football players. And if the physical didn't check out, you know the Browns aren't going to risk $5 million in cap space on a guy who might not be able to go when the cold weather hits. This situation leaves a gaping hole on the roster where we expected to have a solid rotational piece. And now the search begins all over again to find someone who can bring that same level of intensity to the edge. The Dawg Pound was hype about this addition because we saw what this prospect did in the past, but the reality is that the NFL is a business of availability, and right now this defender just wasn't the right fit for the long-term health of our organization.
You just know what you'll stir. Das repulstormo seal gestur. And I think is liegen too fin best place. However, for the long-term health of our organization, to say.
It makes you wonder what exactly the doctors saw in those exams to make a high-level executive like Berry walk away from a deal that was practically signed and delivered. We need every bit of help we can get to chase down a Super Bowl, but we can't afford to waste resources on players who are behind the 8-ball before the first whistle even blows. But wait until you hear what is happening with the absolute anchor of our entire defense, because this next move is what is going to define the future of the Cleveland Browns for years to come. If you are a true member of the Dawg Pound and believe Andrew Berry made the right call here, hit that like button right now and let me know in the comments who you want to see us sign instead. Myles Garrett is staying exactly where he belongs, and anyone who thought he was going anywhere needs to check themselves because Andrew Berry just completely shut down those trade rumors for good. Our general manager was loud and clear during the league meetings when he stated that this All-Pro is a pillar of this organization and they have zero intention of moving the best defensive player in the world. People saw those recent contract adjustments and started speculating that the Browns were clearing room to ship out our superstar, but Berry explained that those moves were strictly about creating salary cap flexibility to build a winner around him. This defensive end is the heart and soul of the 216, and the idea of him wearing another jersey was making fans absolutely sick to their stomachs, but we can all breathe a sigh of relief now. You don't trade a generational talent who can change a game on a single snap, and it's clear the front office understands that this player is the foundation of everything we are trying to achieve on the field. The commitment from the front office shows that we are in win-now mode, and we aren't interested in collecting draft picks when we already have the ultimate weapon in our arsenal. Seeing how this superstar dominates double teams and wreaks havoc in the backfield is why he is untradeable, and Berry made sure every other team in the league knows that the phone is off the hook when it comes to our number 95. The stability of having a leader like this in the locker room cannot be overstated, and it sends a message to the rest of the AFC that Cleveland is not backing down from anyone. We are building a fortress on the shores of Lake Erie, and this defensive juggernaut is the king of that castle. But Garrett isn't the only elite talent that teams were trying to pry away from us, because the news on our secondary is just as explosive and shows that this team is not looking to rebuild anytime soon. Drop a DAWG in the comments if you think Garrett is the greatest Brown of all time. Don't forget to subscribe for the most authentic Browns news on the planet. Denzel Ward is staying put in the 216, and Andrew Berry has once again proved that he isn't interested in trading away the elite pieces of this defense just to save a few bucks or grab some draft capital. During the NFL meetings, the rumors were flying that our lockdown cornerback could be on the move, but the GM silences all that noise by emphasizing that the Browns prefer to keep elite talent rather than trade it away for unknown prospects. This kid is one of the best in the business, and having him on one side of the field while Garrett is terrorizing the quarterback on the other is what makes our defense so scary for every offensive coordinator in the league. It is the kind of move casual fans don't understand but wins championships, because you cannot replace a lockdown corner of this caliber in today's NFL without spending a fortune or getting incredibly lucky in the draft. Barry's philosophy is clear: identify the elite guys and keep them at all costs, because that is how you build a culture of winning in a city that has waited way too long for a parade down 9th Street. The commitment to this defensive back shows that the Browns are looking to be the most dominant secondary in football, and they aren't going to let outside noise dictate how they build this roster. We've seen what happens when you let talent walk out the door, and it usually ends in disaster, but the current regime in Cleveland is smarter than that. They know that this cornerback is a local hero who represents everything we love about the North Coast, and losing him would have been a massive blow to the chemistry of that unit. Now that the trade rumors are buried, we can focus on how these stars are going to lead us deep into January. But how all these moves fit together into the bigger picture for the Browns is where things get really interesting for our playoff hopes. When you take a step back and look at what Andrew Berry is doing here, it becomes incredibly clear that the Cleveland Browns are operating with a level of confidence we haven't seen in decades. By shutting down the trade rumors for both Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward, Berry is sending a shockwave through the league that the Dawg Pound is not a farm system for other teams. We are keeping our blue-chip players, and we are doing it with a long-term vision in mind. The failed signing of A.J. Epineza might seem like a setback on the surface, but it actually shows the discipline of this front office. They aren't going to throw $5 million at a problem if the player isn't 100% ready to contribute at an elite level. This is how dynasties are built in the NFL. You don't make emotional signings, and you don't trade away your cornerstones just because people start talking on social media. The cap flexibility they created wasn't for a fire sale. It was for the surgical additions that are going to put this team over the top when the lights are brightest. Jim Schwartz has to be thrilled knowing that his two biggest stars are locked in, and the front office is being diligent about who they bring into that room. This roster is being constructed to withstand the physical toll of an AFC North season, and that means having the guts to walk away from a deal when the medicals don't line up. It's a high-stakes game of chess, and right now Barry is playing like a grandmaster while everyone else is playing checkers. The stability we have now is exactly what this franchise has needed for years to finally reach the mountaintop. The bottom line is that the Cleveland Browns are standing their ground and protecting the elite core that makes this defense the most feared unit in the league. We are seeing a front office that isn't afraid to make the tough calls, whether that means walking away from a veteran edge rusher due to health concerns or hanging up the phone on any team crazy enough to ask about trading our superstars. This is not just another offseason in Cleveland. This is the moment where we solidify ourselves as true contenders for the long haul. The message to the rest of the NFL is loud and clear. If you want to come through the 216, you better be ready for a war, because our best players aren't going anywhere. This is the kind of aggressive roster management that wins championships and keeps the Dawg Pound rocking every Sunday. Make sure you stay tuned to this channel, because as the draft approaches and more moves are made, we will be here to break it all down for you. This is the beginning of something special, and you don't want to miss a single second of the journey. Go Browns!